lined up here. Hi, and welcome back to Purple Collar Life. In today's video, we're going to talk about why for years I've avoided a quick hitch for my John Deere or my Ford tractor. But that changes today, I think. Now here at Purple Collar Life, we've got several tractors we use on the homestead. So my dad's got the Ford 8N and the John Deere 750 down at his place. I've got the John Deere 2210 and the Ford Workmaster here, and then we use a lot of the same attachments between those four tractors. So that's one of the reasons I've always avoided the quick hitch. I need to be able to have any one of the four tractors attached to any one of the many implements, but if you buy a quick hitch system, a lot of times you have to put bushings over the end pins of those attachments. And that has been problematic because there are some attachments that we didn't want to have to put those bushings on because we didn't want to have four quick hitches for all four tractors. Well, there's a solution to that now. And Courtney at GoodWorks Tractors has a quick hitch called the Fast Cat, which doesn't require bushings on the implements, which is perfect because that means I can put, and I have two quick hitches to put on the Ford Workmaster and the John Deere 2210. That's going to solve a lot of problems I have here at Purple Collar Life. But that doesn't mean that the attachments that I use and the attachments that Dad use have to be separate, because this particular quick hitch allows the same quick hitch to be used on implements that tractors with non-quick hitches still use. The ballast box on my John Deere 2210 is probably the item you see most often attached to the three-point hitch of this tractor. And that's because most of the time I'm doing loader work, whether it's with the bucket or with the Artilian pallet forks like we have on right now. And you always need ballast at the back. But the other reason is because this thing is a pain to put on and off of the tractor. It's got to be, the ballast box has to be completely level with the tractor completely level in order to get the pins lined up and through the arms of the three-point hitch. And this thing is extremely heavy, so shuffling it side to side, or putting one end on and then trying to lift up a little bit to get the other end to line up, it is a pain. The other thing is we've got these goofy turnbuckle adjustments which you've got to open and close to let the arms be wide enough to come out over top of the pins, and then you've got to tighten them back down to make the arms be tight enough that your ballast box isn't swinging side to side every time you are on different terrain. So today we've got the brand new GoodWorks Tractors Fast Cat 1 quick hitch, and we're going to put it on the John Deere 2210. I'm going to show you how easy it is to install it. About a week ago, I actually installed the Fast Cat 1 on my Ford Workmaster 641 tractor, and I've been using it the last week or so, moving on and off of different pieces to see how it worked. Most of the time, connecting and disconnecting to the big tool rack, and it is so nice to be able to just back up to something. You can back up to something, lift up on your three-point hitch, it clicks over top of the pins automatically. Super nice system. Everything now is much faster for me to connect and disconnect, which is a huge advantage as we roll into wintertime here, because your freezing cold hands don't work very good when you're trying to get everything attached to the three-point hitch. The GoodWorks Tractors Fast Cat is going to be a much better system. I do want to explain to you a second reason that I haven't been super excited about a quick hitch, and that is this top hook. Now this is going to work perfect, absolutely perfect, for on my ballast box, because the top hook can come right into this slot, slide up through, and attach to that pin. Perfect. But some of our attachments are pretty old. They are original to the Ford 8N tractor from the 1940s and 1950s. And unfortunately, they don't have that big slot space, or they have something else like an inch or two below the pin that's going to prevent me from being able to use the quick hitch on those. But we will deal with those issues in the summer next year when it's time to connect those attachments, I'll talk you through what the process might be, or if it'll be necessary to remove the quick hitch in order to use those. We're going to learn all that next summer. But in the meantime, for my winter attachments, this is going to be perfect. I would like to know, those of you who have older implements like we do, has that been a major deterrent to a quick hitch for your system? You can see I did get a little bit of mud on the tires here, clear into the wheels there. I have the forks on because I was moving some IBC totes for a future video, and it is quite wet and muddy back where the totes were. But once again, these Carl Star tires dug in, did a great job. Didn't even have to use four-wheel drive. Just going to set this aside out of the way. This will add a little bit of ballast just by itself, by the way, to your tractor. There's some weight to it. But you're going to see here the process of taking the ballast box off. And taking it off is obviously going to be easier than putting it back on, but I want you to see what this is like. So the top link, that one's not difficult. Just take our pin off here. This side pin I've already removed. We'll remove this side pin. We'll just set them up on top. But you can see I've got these so tight that they will not come off of the tractor without loosening those turnbuckles. So we have to pull this little pin out from the bolt on the turnbuckle. Set it right there. Loosen this up. There we go. One side loose. Same thing on this side. All right, both sides out. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil on the ball here because it's getting a little rusted. I may need to add some oil to my oil gun here. That should help. So we're going to put this side closest to the camera on first. I'll get the little ball here lined up and square. And inside here, right here, is a pin that we're going to pull out and set right here so we can put it back in once we're lined up. Then you can see how this whole piece pulls out of here. So this is going to go through the outside, through the ball on my 3-point, and then through the inside, and the pin goes inside it. That's going to be our process. We'll get this side hooked up first. Super easy. We'll do the same thing here. Bottoms are connected. The top has a pin included with the quick hitch with the attached pin so you don't lose it. Get ourselves lined up here. Now you'll see the top link here has some quick pull pins that you can just pull out and adjust. So we're going to pull this out. Pull this out, and we could actually locate this as high or as low as we need to. Now I'm going to start right here and see if that lines up properly for our, let me find a hole, there it is. See if that lines up properly for our John Deere ballast weight. You know, a lot of people use the John Deere iMatch quick hitch system, and I think that is a good system if you've got all equipment that you want to put those bushings on, all your 3-point attachments, and you're only going to use them with tractors that have the iMatch system. But for us, when we've got multiple tractors that we want to attach to the same pieces of equipment, this, without requiring any bushings, is going to be perfect. You'll see how this pushes in. So I don't need to do anything but back up to my ballast box and make my connection. I am going to determine how much I need to tighten these turnbuckles back up and then put those cotter pins back in, because just like I didn't want the ballast box swaying around before, I still don't want it swaying around on the quick hitch. So we'll tighten these down. The other thing that happens if you don't tighten these down and there's too much pull one way or another, too much sway, it will actually bend these turnbuckles. I've had to replace them twice now because the post gets bent. There we are, nice and secure. Okay, so for some reason this side we're not clipped in yet. Let's see if we are raised up. Oh, I know why. Here we go. So this top pin is resting in the hook, and that's not letting the other side go down quite enough. So we're going to lower this back down. This is part of the adjustment process of learning the first time where it needs to be for your implement. But we need to move this back down kind of where it was before I changed it. And we want this side to release, so we're going to put the handle up. And that will let it release as it drops. Same thing here. Go nice and easy. It was probably exactly right the way it was when we first got it before I made the adjustments. Okay, that was better. Let's take a look here. Okay, now we've got this top hook adjusted properly for the ballast box, and you can see it let this clip into place, and that's going to be secure. This will not reopen until you lift the handle up and let it out. So you don't have to lift the handle up for the implement to go in. It's spring loaded for the weight of the pin to push that down and lock in place. But when you want to drop it, you do have to pull this up. Now, one of the reasons that I was looking forward to trying this out is because, yes, it will attach to the ballast box, which we proved here pretty easily. But the issue with having the ballast box back here, even though I need all that ballast weight, is that I can't connect anything else to the back of the tractor. I can't ever tow a little trailer with it or tow anything with it. I can't put the box hitch in because this box is always back here. Well, there's another solution that attaches to the GWT Fast Cat, and I'll put links down below in the description. I've got affiliate links for the Fast Cat hitch and the next thing I'm going to show you, which is the Versabracket that allows you to put some ballast weight right on here so that you can still tow a trailer and stuff, and you have the advantages of ballast box without having the ballast box back there. So this is a bracket you can use to attach some suitcase weights right to the quick hitch that allows you to still use it as a quick hitch. Comes with all the hardware. And the advantage of this system is you can still attach your attachments. You can see this weight bracket is completely out of the way of being able to attach, but it allows you to add a couple suitcase weights right here onto the quick hitch. So that's a nice system. See, it comes on and off pretty easily. So this is a really cool option for the Fast Cat hitch. Just talk through it while I'm putting these pins in. You can put your chainsaw down in this chainsaw holder. You've got spots here to wrap a chain and then hook them through this hook to be able to tow something. You've got a spot here where you can put your 2-inch receiver in and tow a trailer. So this is exactly what I want to be able to do on the back of my tractor, is have this type of bracket where I can still tow my log splitter, but I can put suitcase weights on here, and that will allow me to do everything I need to do and still have ballast. And that is a 1 5/16, I believe. Just put the pin through here, the locking washer through the inside, reattach the nut, and I was gonna use this open-ended wrench, but I think I'm gonna have to use a socket if I can fit a socket in there. I don't know if I have a long enough socket. Just put these back down. We've got our Versabracket lined up. And installed, and boom. Chainsaw can go right here. Weights can go right here. Receiver hitch can go right here. So that is going to be perfect. Now I currently don't have any suitcase weights. I've always been looking for John Deere suitcase weights to use with this tractor, but they're super expensive when you do see them on like Facebook Marketplace. But I see they do have at Goodworks Tractor some suitcase weights you can get for this. Then if you want to remove it, same as any other attachment, just lift your handles up. That releases the pins on the bottom and you can pull it out. So one of the things I want to check, because it worried me slightly, it seemed like this side was only in the pin holder down here slightly. So I'm going to see the total width from pin outside to pin outside is about 30 inches. It's probably actually 30 1/4, but we're going to call it 30. And the distance between here is 29 1/2. So it really only leaves, you know, a little bit sticking out of each side, and I want to make sure that if I slid all the way in, the other pin wouldn't completely fall out of the bracket. So we're going to do some testing here just to make sure the box is secure on the Fast Cat. I do have really good visibility behind me in the Curtis cab, nice big glass window. I'm going to go this way as much as the top length will allow us to. See how close we are to falling off of that edge. Yeah, that's pretty scary, but it does stay in it, and it can't go any further than that, and I'll show you why. So let's take a closer look at how this is all lined up. Here on the left-hand side, you can see the pin is extended beyond, which is good. Now, I still wouldn't put this pin in here because it won't slide the whole way in, so I've got an extra holder right here. We're just going to put it right there. Then this side, that was kind of what was worried me, is that you only have this much in, but there's no further that it can go this way, because if you look right here, you'll see I've got the hook all the way against the inside edge, tightening that as far as I could. So even if this did slide, it would slide, the box would slide this way, which would make that pin fit even better. Now, I'm sure there's an old video somewhere of me struggling to get the ballast box onto the 3-point hitch. It is typically, you know, that thing is so heavy. I've got it completely full of sandbags, but you can see the sandbags have since ripped and the sand is just completely filling the box now. And that thing is heavy. So even just trying to slide it and maneuver it, you know, manhandle it is extremely difficult. This system is much faster, much easier, and much better. So thinking about the experience of the Fast Cat 1 quick hitch on the Ford Workmaster tractor, connecting to the big tool rack, so much easier with the Fast Cat 1 because the back tires of the tractor end up pretty close to the big tool rack when you're trying to make those connections with the manual connection system of the arm to the pin on the big tool rack. You're kind of squeezing yourself in there, and then you have to adjust where the tractor is or slide the big tool rack a little bit. So looking here, this is exactly where the pin would have to go through the 3-point arm on the Ford Workmaster tractor, and here's the pin. So you can see this distance is not very big. It's hard for a person to stand in between here and make that attachment. But with the Fast Cat, much easier to make that connection. With the Fast Cat 1, I never had to leave the seat of the tractor. I backed up, I could see behind me the quick hitch connections, could line them right up with the pins of the big tool rack, lift, and it connected, and I was ready to go. Never had to get off the seat of the tractor. Way easier than I expected. If there's any of you out there that have just switched to a Fast Cat quick hitch, leave a comment down below if, like me, you were amazed at how much faster it truly is than the manual connection system. So what this Fast Cat connection is going to enable me to do is just back up to a piece of equipment, look out my back window there on the 2210, raise up, attach without getting off the tractor. No micro adjustments, no adjusting the arms, no pulling them in and out to try to get things lined up. You know, with the ballast box, the arms always end up being too tight. You got to get off and try to get them to come outside the edge of the box here so that you can back up far enough, and then you're trying to lift up, but you need to pull them out. So it is such a pain to connect the ballast box. This Fast Cat, it's just a mind-blowing situation how much faster this is, and it's going to make all my changes much easier. And then the Versabracket bracket, being able to tow my log splitter directly with the tractor, going to be perfect. It's log splitter season right now. I'm going to be out splitting a lot of firewood that we've got down, ready to split up, and this will be one of the tools I go to. So I'd be interested to know how many of you out there use a quick hitch and have been using one for years. If so, what brand? And do you see the advantage of, I put off for a long time getting one because I didn't want to have to put those bushings on stuff and then not be able to use it with, for example, the Ford 8N tractor. Well, this system, using the actual pin and not having to have a bushing, changes my perspective on a quick hitch, because now I can use all the same implements as my dad, and he doesn't have a quick hitch, but I do, and I haven't messed up any of the attachments for him. So I am totally new to the quick hitch system, and I will give you my thoughts as time goes on, but so far, initial impressions, I really like it. Now, I think I will have an issue with the Workmaster trying to attach to the brush hog, because I don't think the quick hitch is going to work for it, but we'll take a look at that in a future video. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative and entertaining, please give us a big thumbs up, click that hype button, leave those comments down below, and then hopefully we'll see you again the next time. Thanks again for watching.